Hi everyone, it's Lucas from Datonic, and today I want to show you some tricks with Databricks Asset Bundles that are commonly called dApps. Most of the things here are very difficult or even impossible to find in the official Databricks documentation, and at the same time very crucial for most of the projects we've been working on. That's why I believe this tutorial will be very useful. It will be divided into 4 parts. In the first one, you will learn how to run Python and SQL files with all-purpose compute. In second, how to pass local and global variables in dApps, how to do a for each loop in dApps, and how to run multiple jobs in one main workflow. Before we start, make sure you have this Databricks CLI installed. And I also encourage you to walk through general tutorial from Databricks and take a look at official bundle examples. Okay, let's go straight into the code. First, I want to talk about the structure. So we have a main configuration file, which is usually called either bundle.yaml or databricks.yaml. And here we define targets. We include what's need to be included. Usually it's resources, which is basically a folder for jobs and workflows. Of course, the bundle name. We can also set variables here. They will be global variables and permissions, but it's not something we need right now, so I decided not to include it in the development. Okay, we can go to the source code, and in the source code, we'll have a SQL file, Python file, and notebook file. And in this tutorial, in this part, I will show you how to run these, so SQL and Python extension with all-purpose compute. So we have defined tasks here. Again, it's very simple version. And let's try to run this. And it failed. It says that this is not a notebook, okay? And basically this basic engine, I didn't define the cluster here on purpose because I wanted to run with serverless default cluster, but it says not a notebook. With one simple trick, you can actually run this as a notebook. So normally to run SQL, you would need to have defined SQL Warehouse in SQL task. But with this simple trick, you can actually run it with all-purpose compute, right? So what needs to be added is the comment Databricks notebook source. And thanks to that, Databricks will treat this SQL file as a notebook. Same for Python. Yes. Okay, and let's validate again. And it went through. Then we can deploy this code. And we can actually run it. Okay, I decided to scroll down a bit. So we can see here in workflows tab that is actually running. We can click here to see this particular job. And we see that Python task succeeded and SQL tasks also succeeded. Okay. Next thing that's pretty useful is that if you want to divide these files by cells, as in a notebook, you can actually do this hashtag or actually comment command, and it will display it as a separate cell, which is also great. And why we don't want to use notebooks? For a simple reason. When doing a code review, notebooks adds a lot of weird characters to it, right? So in reality, it's just 2 lines of code. It's simple select and print statements. But when you do code review, it grows up to like 50 lines and a lot of different characters, which is not something you want to do, and also adds characters in the code itself, right? That's why notebooks are very cool for data exploration, but for production code, it's much better to have either SQL or Python files. Okay, this went through. Let's go to the second part of the tutorial.